All right, show me the money. NFL picks for Wild Card Weekend are here as we're going to pick all 6 games of. Thank goodness the NFL dropped Super from Wild Card Weekend. It was so stupid when they were doing that. But here with us today, we talked to him in Week 12 when his Bucks were about to play the Giants. Now they're in the playoffs. Charlie Borges is here. Charlie, how are you?
I'm good, Mike. How are you, man?
Doing pretty good. And I don't know if you can see here. I got my Met coffee mug here because since the last time we talked, they got Juan Soto.
Hell yes, they did. It's what all Mets fans wanted. We got an early Christmas present.
Yep.
Um, David Stearns just needs to add a couple more pieces. I know it sounds greedy to want more after Juan Soto, but when you have a team like the Dodgers who do nothing but add and nothing but shell out cash and win a championship, that's what you have to do nowadays. So, I mean, if I'm greedy for wanting more from than Juan Soto, call me greedy.
Hey, I get it because I mean, like, this is an off season, where you get one, so you want to fill every hole you have here. But I do appreciate the fact that they're like being disciplined in their approach here. I know we heard today on day recording from Bob Nightingale. Again, take Bob's report with a grain of salt here that apparently Scott Boras going around pitching everybody that Pete Alonso needs the Prince Fielder contract for 9 years, $214 million. And the Mets are smart to say, you know what, like, we have a price for it. If you want to be back here so badly, take it. We'll give you, high average salary. We'll give you a chance to opt out and test your market again. But like, we're not giving you 9 years just because you want 9 years.
I think the worst thing that's ever happened to professional sports is Scott Boras. He makes everything about himself. He has his ways. He has his mechanisms on how to get his clients the most money, which is his job.
Yes.
But there's no reason why we need to drag literally everything out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
It's a problem.
take the 5 year contract.
Yeah.
That's all you need. He's a 31-year-old first baseman with power numbers, and he's a good fielder. Let me rephrase: he's an average fielder. He's not going to. No, just take the 5 year, $125 million deal. Done. Call it a day.
Yeah. The thing is, we've seen with the Soto thing how great Boras does his job with like the top tier guys. Like, he'll get them as much as they can. But like these mid tier guys now, like, it's past the point where, you can go in with the PowerPoint and like the DVD and be like, impress these owners. Now you have a lot more smarter guys in the office here. And people realize, that Pete Alonso, if he's going to be a 30 homer guy, there's a lot less value as a 40 homer guy. So that's something that like has to be weighed in here. I know he regrets rejecting the extension the Mets offered him, but at the same time here, where is he going? The market for first baseman dried up.
Honestly, if I'm the Mets at this point, I'm trying to do the Vientos to first move and bring in Alex Bregman
Yeah.
and just see how that goes. So you upgrade third base and you take a guy who's still very young, still very moldable, and then can switch to the other corner out or corner infield spot, and you save a little bit of money.
Yeah.
I'd do it at this point. I love Pete. Don't get me wrong. I love Pete. I want him to be a Met forever. I want him to break Darryl Strawberry's records for most home runs as a Met. I want him to do all of the things. It's just gotten to a point where Scott Boras has inflated his own ego and Pete's ego to where I'm just like,
Enough.
see you later.
Yeah.
Good luck. I wish you nothing but the best.
Yeah.
See you later.
Yeah. This is my perspective on Pete. And I agree with you on all those points. I love him. I love him for being Met forever. But the way I see it is here, like, if he does come back, I never want to hear LFGM again. I never want to hear how much he loves being a Met again. Like, he is choosing with the path he's going on that, which is his right, by the way, as a free agent. He's chosen to prioritize the money. And with the money situation, you can't have the money and, claim I want to be a Met for life when you're basically trying to get everybody in the market in here so you get every last dollar out of the situation.
Very true. You're very correct in your assessment. With in the same breath, you have to admit that free agents, their goal is to get as much money as they think they are worth.
Yeah, that's what I said. I think he's fine. If that's his goal, that's fine. You can't come back here talking about how I want to be a Met for life.
Man, the flu just kind of takes all the thoughts that you had in your brain and just kind of just takes it out. You're right. I mean, time to put up or shut up.
Yep. He's gonna
If
have
you want to be,
a lot
you
different
want to be
reception if he
more
comes back.
orange.
Yeah. If he comes back, to a lot different reception based on like how this has played out, I feel like, than if he just like taken an extension offer.
I mean, we're in the new year now.
Yep.
We're about a month and a half from reporting,
Yep.
maybe. I mean, come on.
I'm just telling you, he's not signing before camp at the rate this is going. If they're especially if that report's true.
And he may do what Blake Snell did,
Yep.
or was it him or Jordan Montgomery,
They
where
both
he
did.
signed
And JD Martinez.
and JD Martinez, but I think one of them fired their agent.
Yeah, it was Montgomery.
So with Montgomery, he waited, waited, and waited and waited for a big deal that never came, or it did come, but they were like, "No, no, we'll wait. We'll get something better." They never did, and now Arizona is. Didn't they trade him, or aren't they trying everything in their power to get rid of the contract?
I know the owner said it was a mistake.
Yeah, like if he took the earlier contract instead of waited and waited and waited and waited, he wouldn't have been put on blast by the owner. Just take the deal, Pete.
Yeah.
Just take the deal.
Yep. And we'll see how that plays out here. We'll get to the football here because I gotta admit here, like when I saw the situation play out last week with your Bucks, so the way they went in here, like I gotta ask you, like how nervous were you with by the third quarter when they were losing this football game to the Saints and Spencer Rattler?
So I wasn't as nervous as most people think I would have been. Sorry, excuse me. Had to cough.
Yeah, all good.
Um, so you also scoreboard watch. So watching the Bucks game, I also kept my eye on the Falcons and Panthers. Bryce Young was giving it to the Falcons. So I had, even though the Saints were controlling most of the play and there was really nothing happening offensively, there was something in the back of my mind that was like, hey, just let Bryce Young do his thing. And we'll just see what happens by the middle of the fourth quarter. And at one point, the Bucks and the Saints were farther in their game than the Falcons and the Saints. And then I kind of blinked, and the Falcons and the Panthers were like 30 seconds to go, and the Bucks were 3 minutes to go. So everything kind of just flipped, and it all turned out in the Bucks' favor, which I couldn't ask for anything more.
You can't say anything more here. And like there was obviously a point last year, like after Brady retires, you look at the situation, you're like, I wonder what's gonna happen now. You know, can Todd Bowles do it without the greatest quarterback of all time here? Like the roster's here, but how long he's got to stick around? But give them credit. They have won two division titles in a row here. It's amazing that they've been able to sustain this even after Brady left.
I agree, and it's, you know me. We've had this conversation before on this podcast. I am not a Todd Bowles fan in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
The
neither am I.
only the only reason why the Buccaneers are here, and this is your soundbite, the only reason why the Buccaneers are here and in any successful platform is because of Baker Mayfield, Liam Cohen, and Dave Canales.
Yeah.
No thanks to Todd Bowles. Because of Todd Bowles, the Bucks had to squeak their way in the final week. If it was Bruce Arians or any other coach, they probably have 2 or 3 more wins.
Yeah.
They would have beaten the Chiefs. They would have split with the Falcons. And therefore, you wouldn't have to be sweating it out in the final week and hoping that Bryce Young gets the job done if you can't.
Yeah. They're a fair point here, especially like I'm sure it'll make you concerned considering now that we've seen what Baker did under Liam Cohen. Now he's going to get a bunch of interviews in this head coaching cycle too. Only 5 openings, but always a chance he ends up leaving.
I think I think he will stay for next year,
Yeah.
and then whatever happens next year, he's gone.
Yeah.
He's either gone. Let me rephrase. He's gone from the position that he's currently in. He's either the Bucks' next head coach or he's the head coach somewhere else.
Yes.
It kind of reminds me of when they fired um, Lovey Smith
Yeah.
in 2015, 2014 or 2015,
Yeah.
because they wanted to keep their offensive coordinator because he was, quote, the next big thing.
Yeah. It wasn't the Dirk Cutter experiment.
It was the Dirk Cotter experiment that ended so horrifically that I was laughing the entire time.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where they fired the guy they should have kept and they promoted the guy they could have gotten rid of.
Yeah.
Now it's gotten to the point where they won't fire the guy they should to promote the guy they should, and they're
Yeah.
just going to keep the things the way they are. I think, yeah, I sound greedy. We just won the NFC South for the fourth time in a row. I
Yep.
sound greedy, but it's just one of those things where, like, Todd Bowles will only take you so far.
Yes. Yeah, he only will here. And speaking of the Todd Bowles and the Bucks, they are hosting a wild card game here on Sunday night against the Commanders here. As you can see, rematch all the way back in week one when the Bucks won 37-20. But like we all know how far back that was. You basically throw that game out the window, considering how much Jane Daniels progressed in that time period, the injury of Chris Godwin. So like, what are you looking for in this game?
Not to get embarrassed.
Yeah.
So the Bucks defense was the healthiest it's ever been in week one.
Yep.
And it's been nothing but depleted ever since. Multiple guys on IR, multiple guys missing weeks. Jordan Whitehead just got into a car accident. We don't know if he's going to be back for this game. He missed the season finale. Antoine Winfield, all pro safety, been banged up. Uh, Even I think he'll play this week, but if he does, who knows how he's going to be? He's missed the last couple of weeks. The secondary is pretty much non-existent. Zion McCollum, he stepped up, which is nice. Jamel Dean, he's been up and down. He's a Jekyll and Hyde. You don't know if you're going to get a lockdown corner or you're going to get a turnstile that you just go right on through. Um, and with the Jaden Daniels experiment being what it is and how good he's been, and if you remember in week one, he kind of figured the Bucks out
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
after the first half. In the second half, he made it a ball game. It was a blowout at one point. He made it a ball game.
Yep.
So with the Bucks defense declining and his style of play and his just himself on the rise, things are going to even out. And it's tough to beat a team twice in one season.
Yep.
I don't know how the Bucks are going to do.
Uh, we'll see how they do here. We'll get to the pick, the reason why you're here. Rather than the regular season last week with Tom Bacchino, one of the co-hosts of the Sorry to Interrupt podcast. He came on. He went 2-1 on the week. He laid the big one with the Ravens, laying the 17.5 points. They ran away and hid. You get the Seahawks laying the 4.5 against the Rams. They won by 5, covered that number. He took the Packers laying a 9.5. They lost that game outright. So 2-1 for Tom last week.
I think when I was on, I went 1-2, and I
Yeah.
picked the 49ers, and that was like I made the pick about 3 hours before it was announced that Brock Purdy and Deebo Samuel were out.
Yep,
So I just called that one a loss immediately.
that was a wash, basically.
Yeah. The Packers that's a rough one.
Yeah. My picks I went
You
two
have
and
to
one
beat the
week,
Bears.
so yeah, I had the Bengals laying the point on Saturday night. I figured they win that game. They gave me a scare at the end, but they did. I took your guys laying the 13.5, thinking they would blow Spencer Rattler out. That didn't happen, but I know my team. I knew they were gonna win that football game, so I took the 4.5. I'm like, if there is like when the Jets have a meaningless week, last week of the season game that will ruin their draft position, they show up like the Dynasty Patriots. So that's always happens. So Jets plus 1.5 was a lock.
So where are the Jets picking right now?
7.
The pick at 7. What are you looking for? Real quick, what are you looking for at 7?
Not a quarterback. I don't want to invest in this group.
You don't think Shadur Sanders is the next franchise?
No, I do not.
I don't even think he's a fourth round talent. That's just my opinion.
Well, I have a feeling Shadur Sanders will be playing on the other side of town this year. That's my hunch.
Yeah, with the fourth pick or third.
The third pick. Yeah, because I could see the scenario, where this happens, and then if this Shane Daboll thing blows up in a year, Deion Sanders, the Giant head coach.
Ugh, Lord help us if that happens.
All right. So on the year, regular season, the challenge went 27-27, even 500. I went 31, 22, and 1 during the regular season. So I have won the regular season crown. But the overall is still for grabs. The playoffs are still in the mix.
Well, congratulations on all your regular season success.
Yeah, it's one of my better years, because last year was rough. This year, I think I was consistent 2-1 most of the way throughout.
My goal is to just be even.
Yeah.
We've been talking off air that I'm currently recovering from the flu,
Yeah.
and I gave you my picks. I remember some of them. I don't remember all of them, but I'm going to try my best to remember all of them
All right. So we'll go
and the
game.
rationale behind it.
Yep. So we'll go game by game here. We're gonna make this easier on you because instead of having to remember all at once here, we're gonna go one at a time. So we'll start out here, go through every game in order on Super Wild Card Weekend. That the NFL no more calls it, thankfully. So we'll start out on Saturday afternoon, the Houston Texans special, 4:30 on CBS Nickelodeon. Chargers of the Texans. Chargers a 2.5 point road favorite. Where are you going with this game?
Did I take the Chargers? I
Did.
believe I did. I did, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, the Texans, they have just fallen off a cliff. CJ Stroud has been running for his life for most of the year. I love the Chargers defense. I love the younger Harbaugh, and what he's done in just his one short year. Um, and the Texans are too inexperienced, and the injuries to their receivers are just a string of bad luck after bad luck. So I'm taking the Chargers
We'll go ahead.
without looking twice.
We're gonna go heads up here. So give me the home dog with the Texans laying 2.5. And everybody talks about getting 2.5. I know everybody talks about, the Texans haven't beaten anybody. The Chargers haven't either. The Chargers are going on the road. The Texans have playoff experience from last year where they won a game in this spot. They beat the Browns. They went on to play Kansas City pretty tough. So I think this is a spot here, where nobody's paying attention to them. I think they're getting not enough respect for what they really do here. They look pretty good in their win against Tennessee last week. I think they got it back on track here. So we'll make it a heads up here. I'm taking Houston.
But it may be Tennessee.
Yeah, but still.
Fair enough. So this is where we can try to catch up with you in the overall standings.
Yep. Next pick here. Steelers at the Ravens. Saturday at 8, Amazon Prime's first playoff game. The Ravens are laying 10 points, the biggest number on the board here. Where are you going with this game?
I took the Ravens. The Steelers are falling apart. I've never seen them play this bad football in such a long stretch. It's not looking good. The defense is blaming each other for everything. Cam Hayward, he's also sick with the flu, even though he played a hell of a game against the Bengals in Week 18 with the flu. I mean, Russell Wilson, he's been terrible the last couple of weeks, and your backup is Justin Fields, who you haven't played in a long period of time. Give me the Ravens at home with that powerhouse of an offense.
Yeah. I love everything you said. I'm taking the points, though. This is a very bitter rivalry here. The Steelers, for the most part, have done well against Lamar over the years. That they beat him in the postseason a couple of times too. So for me, 10 is way too many points to be laying in this game. It's like I could see this being a touchdown Raven win, and I still get the cover here. So I'm taking the points. I agree with you. I think that Baltimore's going to win the game, but I think the 10 is too high for me.
So to your point, they've been able to control Lamar for pretty much his entire career as quarterback. There's always going to be that one outlier game where they put up more points than they normally do. I think this is the one.
All right, so that's pick game 2 here. Game 3, round out the AFC, the Broncos at the Bills, Sunday at 1 on CBS. The Bills are laying 8.5 points. Where are you going with this game?
I think I'm taking the Broncos getting 9 points, but I think the Bills are going to win. Um, it's just going to be a lot closer than a lot of people think. The Broncos under Sean Payton, they're just different than what they have been the last couple of years. Um, and with the Bills at home, there's a lot of pressure in Buffalo. It's kind of a make it or break it year with McDermott and Allen. I think with Denver, the young and hungry team, I think it's just a perfect storm for it to be a lot closer of a game than most people think.
Yeah. I swear I didn't plan this ahead. We're heads up again. I'm taking the Bills laying the 8.5 points here. This is more of an anti-Denver pick here because you look at who Denver's played. They have not beaten a playoff team that actually played their starters since your guys back in week 3. That's a
There you go.
Yeah, that's a problem here. And the last time they went on the road against an MVP candidate, they got their asses handed to them in Baltimore. They lost 41-10. I can see a similar script happening here where they're not ready for prime time and going into Buffalo with potential, cold weather, the crazy Bills Mafia. I don't think they're ready for this spot.
Only one way to find out. I mean, it's a very, very big game for Bo Nix.
Yes.
He's been on fire lately, so this is going to be a fun one. Oh, shockingly, the Denver Broncos in the playoffs, making it fun. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought here? Now go to the NFC side. Start with the Packers at the Eagles Sunday 4:30 on Fox. The big rating spot here. The Eagles laying 4.5. Where are you going with this one?
I'm taking the Eagles. I just love Saquon Barkley and what the Eagles have done this year. Um, they've kind of taken off as the season has progressed. You never count out Jalen Hurts. I mean, there's really, I'm not really a fan of the Packers either. So sorry for the lack of coverage on this one. I just like the Eagles.
Yeah. I'm going to take the points with the Packers here because the couple things scare me here is number one, Jalen Hurts and the concussion protocol. That's something that has not been resolved as of recording time, that scares me to back the Eagles laying that much number here. And Green Bay has been competitive against these good teams. They find a way to keep things close here. I think this is a 3-point game either way at this point, and I'm getting the 4.5 points. So I'll take the points here. I think the Eagles more likely to win, especially if Hurts is healthy, but I don't think they run away in high they tried to do in week 1 when they played in Rio.
Never get the flu, kids. I forgot that Jalen Hurts was in the concussion protocol. That's my bad. I should have done my research before I made the picks.
Yeah, I think that's why the line's where it is. I think if he was healthy, he probably would have been higher. And then we get to the fun game of the week, which is for Charlie here. Sunday Night Football, NBC, 8 o'clock. Commanders at the Bucks. The Bucks laying the 3. Are you taking your own team? Or are you going against them?
I'm going against them. Give me the Commanders getting the 3 points. We've talked about it in the little segment with Jaden Daniels. I mean, it's hard to beat a team twice in 1 year, especially when the first time you did it, you had a completely different looking defense. And now with Jaden Daniels taking off, give me the Commanders.
Yes.
As bad as it is for me to say, and I don't want to sound like a negative fan. Great, we won the NFC South. You got a bad matchup.
All right. I have more faith in your team than you do. I'm laying the 3 here. I think this is a spot, Washington's defense is not that good. Marshawn Lattimore has barely been healthy with the injury. Be a problem if he can't go with the Mike Evans matchup here. Plus, I think playoff experience matters a lot in this game. That Tampa roster is loaded with guys with plenty of playoff games, plenty of playoff experience. Jay Daniels going on the road for his first playoff game. It's not an easy spot for him here. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a tight game. This might be. I think the number is pretty much dead on here, but I'm going to just hedge on the experience being the edge here. So I'll take your team here and lay the 3.
I hope you're right.
All right. So heads up on 5 picks. We'll see if we can find common ground this last one here. The Vikings at the Rams, Monday, 8 o'clock, ESPN, ABC. Manning cast, you want to watch Peyton Eli talk about the games that have Buck and Aikman on ESPN2. Vikings laying 1.5. Where are you going with this one?
I'm going to watch all the games on mute and have Monday Night Raw on Netflix on with the sound. I'm taking the Vikings. I mean, they're one of the best teams in the NFL, and they're still a 5th seed. It's them's the breaks, man.
Yeah.
That's what happens. But they're still one of the best teams in the NFL. And the Rams, they've looked good, but they're not the Rams with Aaron Donald.
Yeah. Yeah. But finally, we have a family play here. I'm taking the Vikings too here. I think this is a spot, where like they are going to be more talented team. I think what happened to Detroit was an outlier. Detroit is very good. The Rams have not been great down the stretch. I saw them play the Jets. They didn't look very inspiring there. They took the foot off the gas against the Seahawks last week. That might cost them with a much tougher draw. So I like this spot here for the Vikings. I think it's a get right spot. I think we're gonna get the rematch in Detroit next week with the in 2 weeks the Vikings and the Lions.
Now that's going to be if that happens, that'll be the best playoff game of the year.
Yep,
Of
on the NFC.
That'll even beat out the Super Bowl.
Yep. All right, so to reset the picks of the week, Charlie's picks. He took the Chargers laying the 2.5, the Ravens laying the 10 in the Big Wood on Saturday night. Broncos getting 8.5, Eagles getting 4.5, laying 4.5 against the Packers, Commanders +3, and the Vikings -1.5. Now we'll go over to my side of the board here. So we're heads up in 5 of these. So we'll start out here. I took the Texans getting the 2.5, Steelers getting the 10, the Bills laying 8.5, the Packers +4.5, Bucks -3. I took more faith in Charlie's team than Charlie at this point. And last but not least, family play on the Vikings, laying the 1.5. So those are your picks for wild card weekend here. And we'll see if these games all pan out to be good, because I don't know about you, but I feel like these wild card games, like ever since they expanded it, like there's usually like 2 good games, the other 4 are blowouts.
Uh, I think they should all be good.
Yeah.
Um, so I think there's going to be 2 blowouts. The Vikings and the Rams, that'll be a blowout, and the Ravens and Steelers, I think that'll be a blowout as well. Um, Living in Pittsburgh and working in the Pittsburgh sports radio market, I have not felt one good vibe since week 13. It's been about 2 months of where did the good team go? When can we trade Mike Tomlin? How much can we get for him? But that'll never happen. It's just this one big just merry-go-round of negativity, and it's never going to end. It's never going to end. Put us out of our misery. It's just you will get a blowout this weekend, and it's going to be in Baltimore.
Yeah, well, we'll see about that. And I will say one thing. If the Steelers are dumb enough to trade Mike Tomlin, my team should pick up the phone immediately.
I have heard multiple people agree with you
Yeah.
that the Steelers should trade him to the New York Jets for draft picks.
Yeah.
And nobody in Pittsburgh would be sad about it, even
That's,
though they should be. He's a great head coach, and that kind of leads into the whole discussion.
yeah. I mean, you see with my team, which we talked about this on a pod a lot recently about how they might be the most dysfunctional team in professional sports. You look at it, change the culture. No one would be a better culture changer on the board than Mike Tomlin.
I'd agree with that wholeheartedly, but it starts with the very, very top.
Hmm.
And who's at the very, very top?
Yeah, Madden boy.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the only hope that you like I said, as a Jet fan, I said this like earlier in the pod too. I feel like the only way like having Woody nail the hires by himself is about as good. You have about a small miracle chance as like if the Wilpon spent money back in the day.
They did sign Jason Bay to a big deal.
I talk about real money, not like average money.
Well, there was that one time. No, 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 no. Francisco Rodriguez. No. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. You want a second time, kind of. Yeah, everything's all good there, Charlie. I found enjoy the games.
Sorry.
All good. People want to follow you on social media. How can I do that?
I'm on Twitter. I forget my Twitter handle name. I think it's just Charlie Borges Jr.
That's correct.
You see, you know better than I would. So Follow me on Twitter. It's where I'm mainly at. No blue sky yet. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I see, right. I'm looking at your Twitter feed right now. I see lots of Devils tweets and I see some wrestling.
Yeah, Raw debuted on Netflix last night. Big Devils fan. I still write for Pucks and Pitchforks. So give them a look on the fan sided network. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, Charlie. Thanks for all the time. Really appreciate it. Hopefully your Bucks get through here and have some fun. Because remember the last time you came on here for Wild Card Weekend, they went out and won the Super Bowl.
Hmm. I didn't realize that. Okay. All right. Oh, okay.
We'll see if history repeats itself.
That got me all excited. Oh wow. I'm sorry. It got me all excited.
Yep.
See, I'm coughing and burping at the same time. Go Bucks.